Air Canada express plane collides with fire truck. Collision takes place at New York's LaGuardia Airport. 2 pilots confirmed dead, dozens suffer injuries. 41 passengers transported to hospital. Let's take a look at all the developments that have unfolded since the collision.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Explained with me, Shivani Singh, and today we break down a devastating aviation tragedy involving Air Canada. One that has raised urgent questions about safety, accountability and the hidden vulnerabilities in modern air travel. Around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 22nd, a routine flight turned into a nightmare. A passenger jet operated by Air Canada collided with a vehicle at one of America's busiest airports, raising serious questions about runway safety and coordination in modern aviation. At New York's aviation hub, the LaGuardia Airport, an Air Canada Express regional jet CRJ-900 arriving from Montreal was in the final phase of landing, one of the most critical moments of any flight. And then, impact. The plane collided with a fire truck on the runway. Importantly, the flight was carrying 72 passengers and 4 crew members and moving roughly at a speed of 39 kilometers per hour at the time of the impact. The collision destroyed the cockpit section of the flight, resulting in the death of both the pilots. Dozens of the passengers were injured, and as were the 2 police officers manning the fire truck. Reports state that the officers, a sergeant and an officer, had broken limbs and were in stable condition. But how did a plane hit a vehicle on a runway? That is the key question. Runways are among the most tightly controlled environments in aviation. Every movement, aircraft or vehicle, is strictly managed by air traffic control. So how did this happen? Early reports suggest that the fire truck had been cleared to cross the runway while responding to a separate emergency involving another aircraft. The fire engine was responding to a United Airlines aircraft that had reported an issue with order. At the same time, the Air Canada flight was cleared to land. Thus, both were on the same runway and their paths intersected with catastrophic consequences. This is what aviation experts call a runway incursion, when an aircraft and another object occupy the same runway simultaneously. Video footage on social media showed the aircraft coming to a reset with its nose upturned. The aircraft can be seen on the runway with its cockpit raised and visible damage to the underside of the forward fuselage. 41 people were taken to the hospital, while 32 of them were later discharged. Others reportedly had serious injuries. One of the most chilling elements of the incident is the audio from the air traffic control. Controllers were reportedly urgently warning the vehicle on the ground. One transmission said, "Truck 1 and company crossing at Delta." The tower then instructed another aircraft, Frontier 4195, "Just stop there please," before issuing repeated warnings. Truck 1, stop, stop, stop. However, visuals indicate that despite the warnings, the ground vehicle collided with the plane. In the seconds before the impact, controllers can reportedly be heard shouting, "Stop, stop, stop, truck 1, stop." But it was too late. The collision had already become unavoidable. Let's listen in.
Truck 1 and company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, 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 truck 1, stop, stop, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jet 646. Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Is the runway closed?
Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Heading 2000, go around, Delta 2603.
LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 2, runway 4 is closed, correct?
Yes, go on to runway 4 now. Proceed on runway 4, you have access.
Tower, car 90, runway 422 is closed at this time.
90, roger.
Later audio clips also allegedly reveal the air traffic controller admitting to messing up. The audio begins with someone in the ATC saying they got the word, "We are going to be closed for a little while." The ATC controller tells the flight if the pilot wants to return to the ramp, then to let him know. I quote here, "That wasn't pretty to watch," the Frontier pilot can be heard saying to the ATC person. "Yeah, I know. I tried to reach out to them. We were dealing with an emergency earlier and I messed up." Frontline crews can be then heard trying to reassure him, saying, "No, you did your best. You could." Listen in.
Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want to prepare to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
Now, a passenger on board the aircraft recounted the terrifying moments following the crash. The passenger stated, and I quote here, "I'm okay physically, but I'm horribly sick to my stomach for the lives lost. Please pray for them. I was on this flight and we are still on the tarmac getting checked out." Air traffic control immediately asked other incoming and nearby flights to turn around. The LaGuardia Airport was immediately shut down, while road entrances to the airport along Grand Central Parkway have just now been reopened, and the traffic alert said that motorists should expect residual delays. New York City's emergency notification system said that people could expect cancellations, road closures, traffic delays, and emergency personnel near the airport. LaGuardia served over 30 million annual passengers in 2025, and a wide range of US airlines operate at the airport. This shows how a single runway incident can ripple across the entire aviation network. 573. That is the total number of both inbound and outbound flights from LaGuardia that have been cancelled, according to FlightWare's tracker. Let's come to the aircraft itself. The jet, a Bombardier CRJ-900 operated by Jazz Aviation on behalf of Air Canada Express, is a widely used regional jet, typically used for short-haul international routes. It is equipped with modern avionics and safety systems. The aircraft is designed to withstand high-impact scenarios, but not direct cockpit collisions. The fact that the cockpit absorbed the impact explains why the pilot suffered fatal injuries, while most passengers survived with just injuries. With the runway cleared and emergency teams on site, attention is likely to turn to how a ground vehicle came into the path of a landing aircraft, as investigators begin examining the sequence captured in the ATC audio. This is not just a tragic accident. It is a system failure in one of the most controlled environments in aviation, because runway operations rely on 3 layers of safety. Firstly, air traffic control clearance, which requires every movement must be authorized. Secondly, visual confirmation. Pilots and vehicle operators must confirm that the runway is clear. And thirdly, redundancy systems. Modern airports use radar and ground movement systems to prevent collisions. For a crash to happen, multiple layers likely failed simultaneously. This incident comes at a time when the US aviation system is under strain. Reports indicate a shortage of air traffic controllers and increased workload due to operational pressures. When systems are stretched, decision-making slows, communication gaps widen, and the margin for error shrinks, and a single miscommunication can become fatal. In October 2025, US airports reported over 20 air traffic controller shortage incidents in a single day. Shutdowns, hiring shortfalls, and training limits have deepened the Federal Aviation Authority's controller shortage. Many FAA air traffic control facilities remain chronically understaffed. And now the investigation, being led by the National Transportation Safety Board alongside the FAA, will focus on key questions like who cleared the fire truck onto the runway, was the aircraft properly cleared to land, and where communication protocols followed. Unlike crashes in the air, This case will rely heavily on ATC recordings, ground radar data, and surveillance footage. Meanwhile, the president of the Association of Flight Attendants has offered the union support to those affected by the fatal collision. Now, runway collisions are rare, but not unheard of. From the Tenerife Airport disaster, the deadliest aviation incident in history, to more recent near misses, aviation has repeatedly learned that the ground can be just as dangerous as the sky. And every time the lesson is the same: coordination is everything. A collision that wasn't supposed to happen, a system designed to prevent exactly this, and yet it couldn't. The question now is not just what went wrong, but whether this was a one-off error or a warning signal for global aviation.
Air Canada express plane collides with fire truck. Collision takes place at New York's LaGuardia Airport. 2 pilots confirmed dead, dozens suffer injuries. 41 passengers transported to hospital. Let's take a look at all the developments that have unfolded since the collision.